Hey guys, Darren. Back for another vlog. So we're on, let's see, this is the second one, number 2. Those of you who aren't into long words like second. Back at it this week and got a couple things done. Let's take a look. So first thing is work that I've done for the book. Working through my character, the skeleton. And I wanted to show you where that ended up. Last time, I've been working on this. This turned out okay, but I had some issues with it. I had a lot of issues with it. One was just the sculpting. I didn't like, the legs are too skinny for this big beefy rib cage. But the bigger problems were technical in what happened here. One thing I did was I put it on this little board, I drilled some holes through, and I thought I would be clever. And rather than tie these down or something, I put blobs of hot glue on here. It was actually kind of nice because it made like feet. So the hot glue held the wires down, but it also gave it something to stand on, so it didn't move around, it sat still. So hot glue melts by heating it up. Of course, that's how most things melt. And Sculpey cures by getting heated up. When I put this in the oven to cook the legs, all the glue ran down into a puddle and securely fastened this to a cookie sheet. Got it off, cookie sheet's clean, everything's okay, everybody's alright. But that was a bummer, and that was a mess, so anytime I recook this I have to figure that out. The other thing that happened was, I don't know how well you can see this, but everything cracked. So this was kind of frustrating because the spine cracked, the vertebrae at the bottom cracked. This is actually just kind of loose on here. So I spent a bunch of time thinking about how to fix everything up. Ordered some Bacon Bond, which is liquid sculpt you put in to fix stuff like that up. But you guys who have seen me do work before know that I have this resistance to giving up and just kind of get my head into how to fix a problem. And knowing that, having learned that, I decided, well, this is probably where I stop. And I start over. So here is the skeleton Mark II. So I did a couple things here. One is I got heavier wire. So I got the thickest aluminum wire I could get at Michael's. When I remodeled him, I actually started with his legs and worked up to the rib cage. So this was all the first piece, the first bake, and well, way more solid. It's not moving at all. The vertebrae are reinforced, and I put it through the bottom of the board, bent the metal over, went back up, so no glue, but I do have these nice little feet. I may end up squirting hot glue on here once it's done, no more baking, so it won't move around, but yeah, there he is. That's Mark II. You can see he's in that dynamic pose, reaching forward. He's gonna be pretty cool. So I hope to finish him this coming week and have him for the next vlog. That was my only work for my book, but I did do some other things. One of the things I did had to do with this ring right here. This ring I've had for longer than I've been married. My wife actually got it for me before we were married. And it is very important to me. Not that important, but it is important to me. And it broke. The weld on it broke. And I figured I could go find a jeweler to make this, fix this, but I got a whole shop and I took a jewelry class. I could do this myself, right? So I got a little flux, a little solder, a little fire. I like fire. And I proceeded to weld it together. And it actually worked. I did get it welded. The edges of the band were very thin and I ended up burning them. So I actually reshaped the ring ever so slightly. And then when I went to polish it back, I got to the point where I got done sanding and I didn't go any further. I didn't actually polish it because I really like the kind of brushed aluminum look that it has right now. So that's where it ended. So that was something I did in my shop this week too. The other project I spent time on was, of course, the helmet. Here's where he's at right now. Looking pretty sweet. I did put a silver coat on there. The silver paint I have has amazing coverage. This is one coat and man, it is just perfect. I also went in, I made some chips, dents, that kind of thing in there. And I actually coated the dents with liquid masking. So when I get done, what it'll look like is there's been some sort of injury to it and the paint has chipped off. I'm actually working on, with the paint, going back and trying to weather it, coming along beautifully. Alright, last thing I want to look at is these things right here. These have been loaned to me by Tyson over at Geeks Woodshop. He gave me a Proxxon rotary tool, a Proxxon scroll saw, a Microlux mini table saw, and a Proxxon bandsaw. So these are all made for model making, for miniature making, and he is an awesome guy. But I mean, giving me all these tools, is he nuts or something? No judgment. He got this stuff when he bought some other tools. They kind of threw this in, package deal, and he doesn't do miniature stuff. He does awesome stuff. If you don't already follow him, you should definitely do that. But he knows the work I do, and he thought this would be perfect. And I agree, this is great. So I've had to do a little bit of work to get the scroll saw up and running. Had to buy a collar to lock down the blade. That was easy. I had to get some bolts to get the bandsaw running, and I'm waiting on the tires that go on top of the wheels so I can put a blade on there. I had to order those. Once that's running, when I start in my next set, I'm going to try to do more pieces out of wood rather than relying on foam or cardboard for absolutely everything, because now I'll have a sweet set of tools. So I actually do have a scroll saw. It's a bigger scroll saw, Ryobi, and I do have a table saw, but the table saw is not good for cutting little tiny pieces, and I don't have bandsaw at all, so I'm excited about that. And my rotary tool that I have right now is a Dremel, and if I do anything below 50% power, it just hums at me. It doesn't actually spin. So I'm excited about having this. So very cool, and thank you again, Tyson at Geeks Woodshop. Definitely check his channel out. So that's it. That is week 2 of my vlog. Hope you guys watch. Hope you're following along. If not, head over to Instagram, follow me, Aaron Making Stuff. This video will be on Instagram and over on YouTube. So follow me either place, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.